What up, little boo-boos? Happy full moon in Taurus. Yay! We've had a bit of a hiatus over the last month. I was engaged in activities on our full moons and in and around them. There was so much going on that I was swallowed whole by the month. So we are back. I'm excited to be back. And this is a really awesome moon. This is the last of our super moons in this little clump of super moons. And I'm really excited because, so Taurus is a fixed sign. It's a feminine earth sign. And this fixed energy is really, really useful right now because of the fact that we are sort of like marinating in the soup of what is to become our new selves, this higher level of self going into an up-leveled version of reality. And so now it's like we're fixing in all of these new mindsets and new neural pathways and new belief systems and new behavioral patterns and new routines and all of those things that we've been figuring out. Okay, if my higher self were really in control, this is what I would be showing up like. This is what my day would look like, generally speaking. These are like the steps that I would be taking towards my goals and my dreams and my desires. And these would be my normal routines to keep me in that higher state that feels really great and feels confident and certain and balanced and nourished and well-rested and energetic and enthusiastic and hopeful and optimistic and excited and soul-nourished, right? So we've been doing the work to offload all that was not that higher self, anything that was really holding us back from going forward into this new timeline as a new creature, like the fully refined, turbocharged version of ourself. It's still a work in progress, it always is, but we're better off than we've ever have been, right? Yeah, so let's give ourselves a little credit and get excited. Okay, so really interesting things are happening right now. So we've got that fixed energy helping us solidify all of the hard-earned wisdom that we've been gleaming through this deconstruction of self over the last few years. And, you know, as we've been clearing the grounds, we've been getting more and more intentful and more clear about who we are and what we're really about and how we relate to the world going forward. So our nodes are going to be shifting soon out of Aries and Libra into Pisces and Virgo. So it's like we're kind of like getting grounded in our new identity and the way that we show up and relate with other people and with life and with the things that we interact with and the people that we interact with. Our relationships, our relating to life has had an upgrade as well, and a reinvention and a reawakening. So this moon is conjunct Uranus, which is the planet of like far out thinking, reinvention, humanitarianism. This is the planet that governs Aquarius. So this is that reinventiveness. You know how Pluto is leaving Capricorn and it's going into Aquarius, and we've been talking about how it's like almost like a student leaving their home and leaving their father's house and going off to one of those Ivy League colleges where they have like the student is like very bright and believes that they're gonna make an impact on the world, and they're very excited and they're like full of optimism and naivete, and life hasn't like kind of like pushed them around yet and showed them like, you know, it's their paces. So I think that we are kind of feeling that sense of youthful zest again, where we feel optimism and hope, and we feel a sense of humanitarianism and a desire we're reconnecting with that inner desire to share our gifts with the world so that we can make the world a better place and we can help others. There's probably some sort of solution in your gifts that provides people with something that they need, right? And so there was a reason why you were given the perspective and the experiences and the talents that you were given, added with the interests that you have and the personality traits that you have, strengths and weaknesses. And so we've realized too over, you know, the past several years that our shadow side, those shadow aspects that we thought were going to be our absolute undoing, that we thought made us unlovable, that we were ashamed of, that we're like, oh, I don't want anybody to see this about me. You know, this is the bad part about me, you know, as far as we perceived, our ego perceived it that way. But what we realized was that once we went in and reclaimed those parts of ourselves that we hid out of guilt or shame, or seeing that society, you know, abandoned or rejected people because of it, or were punished because of it, and we were like, oh, I gotta hide myself out of a defense mechanism, self-preservation. So now we see, okay, I can reintegrate those parts of myself and I can rehabilitate those parts of myself and evolve them and heal them. And those what I perceived were my weaknesses might actually turn out to be my greatest strengths and my greatest gifts. They just were unactivated until they were refined. So reinventing the self, feeling like revolutionary in our perceptions and our ideas about the world, but how we approach life, right? And how we are able to show up in a more capable way. And we're able more now to like kind of reveal more of our potential than ever before. What's also happening is that, so today, Saturn stationed direct. So I can't remember how long it's been in retrograde, but when Saturn's in retrograde, it's like we're going back over all of the lessons and the ways that Saturn has taught us discipline and structure and pragmatic approaches to life, and how Saturn has taught us to be practical and take action and take proactive action and be very methodical about things. You know, Saturn has taught us through discipline and severity and sternness how to be intentional with where and how we're directing our resources, our time and our energy and our money and our love, right? How have we been directing that? Has it been in a wise and prudent way? Or has it been, you know, projected onto vessels that were maybe unworthy or dissonant or unfruitful vessels that maybe wasted our energies, maybe that leaked our energies out rather than brought something forth from them, that did not reciprocate the value that we invested. So let's see what else is happening. So Saturn's going direct, so that'll alleviate a lot of pressure and a lot of the resistance that if you felt like any particular area in your life that Capricorn or Saturn rules or touches, or, you know, other areas that are also a cardinal sign ruled area of your life, you may have found that like you've had a very extremely difficult time making progress in any of these areas or being fruitful in any of these areas. And I feel like this is going to lift a lot of that pressure and remove a lot of the blocks. So then we also have Pluto leaving Capricorn. Finally, it's going to be leaving Capricorn for the rest of our life. And Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth and transformation. And so it's been in Capricorn for the last 16 years. So think about 2008. What were you doing in 2008? Because starting then, that year, Capricorn, Pluto entered into Capricorn, and that began a 16-year cycle of like karmic cleansing and purging. It's never really like, you know, when you hear a term like the purge, it's like, you know, it's like, oh, ominous. You're like, oh no, this is not gonna be good. It wasn't. It was like, remember, like everything over for freaking since 2008 in society that's happened, like the banking Ponzi schemes that were exposed. And then what was it like? I mean, everything that was corrupt in society on every category was exposed to some degree for us to see it and look at it and deal with it on some level. Same for going within our own selves. Anything within ourselves that's corrupt or not sustainable, or that wasn't on a stable foundation or a sturdy structure, was revisited and taken down and made way for something new to be built. Because this next timeline is a timeline that's going to reflect that version of reality that our higher self has prepared. But in order to get to live in that reality, we have to build affinity with the higher self and live from that state. So right now it's about, we've done so much of that deep inner work over the last 16 years. We've gone through karmic lessons and we've gone through difficulties that have taught us a lot. They've broken us open. They've made us, you know, delve into the depths and clean all out, you know, clean all of the muck out and get rid of all of the unforgiveness and the judgment. And it's not like we don't have any left, but we've done a lot, you know, we've done quite an overhaul. It's a manageable collection that we have left now. So because of that, Saturn is going to leave us with a gift or a boon. And so now that we have all this wisdom and this discernment and this experience, it's like we've cut our teeth, we've cut our claws in such a difficult and high pressure environment, that now that the energy is going to ease up as Pluto is moving into Aquarius, out of the severity of living under the household like reign of a strict father, we're going off to college, like, yeah, party, like we're gonna think of our own, we're gonna have our own mind, I'm gonna have my own ideas, dad, you know, kind of thing. So this is going to be good. You know, this is like, think about all the, you know, creative energy and excitement for life that you had at that age, you know, when you were first going out on your own. Well, there's like this aspect of ourself that's kind of doing that again, in a way. And so it's exciting. We have a couple of months, or like a month and a half, you know, to kind of like catch our breath and let the dust settle and reflect and celebrate and appreciate, because we really want to appreciate where we've come and the difficulty that we've been through and how hard we've worked to establish the security and the stability and the healthy routines that we have and the growth that we have. So it's easy though when things start getting easier to get lax and rest on our laurels. And so that's the most dangerous thing in the world, because then you lose all of the positive momentum that you've built, and you run the risk of squandering, you know, what you've worked so hard for. So we're gonna solidify and fix in those positive new habits, and really practice those new neural pathways that we're setting in to make our new, like we're really rewriting our subconscious so that it's positive and it's leading us in positive directions. So we're practicing that now, and we're listening for divine guidance and inspiration. And then once we get those whispers about next steps, we're taking action on those, realizing that we're not going to have the whole plan necessarily, that like our guidance is going to give us the next thing to do. And then once we do that, and once we show that we're like taking heed of that guidance, then we'll get another piece of guidance and another piece of guidance. So very exciting. So we're leaving that strict energy. Things in our life might finally start working out, but we have to keep with it. Right? It's not going to change unless we change. So if we want to live in this higher timeline, we can. It's going to be a lot easier to manifest things. things are going to manifest a lot quicker. The other day, I mentioned that I wanted this specific kind of biscuit at work, and then I turned around and had it within moments. It was like, here they are, hot, fresh, with the extra butters and things. I was like, oh my gosh, like less than a minute, I think, 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes, for sure. So things can manifest very quickly. So make sure that you are intentional in your thoughts and that you're calling in what you want to manifest. And let's see. Oh, but I was going to say, you just have to show up and be that disciplined version of yourself. It's not going to happen without us actually embodying that higher self. We have to have affinity with that higher self in order to create and sustain that version of life. But we can do it. It is really possible, and it's closer than we think. So listen to the synchronicities. It's so funny. I was just feeling super tired, and it's Shabbat, so you know it's time to rest. And I was like, oh, I still have to do the workshop, and I had taken a little nap. I had a lot crammed into one day, and I was just like going to put my sheets in the dryer, and I looked at TikTok to see how my short was doing, and the individual that does the demure, they talk about the being demure, like they don't have green cut crease, they don't come to work with the cleavage out, that person. They were making a video about how, like, just before that viral moment, they were at their cashier job, and they were like, had made videos for 10 years. They decided to give up and get a real job and to make a lot of changes and to just wake up and accept the reality. And, you know, it kind of broke their heart, but they were like, okay, this isn't going to happen, so I'm just going to have to do this. So they had started this new job. They were a cashier. It sucked. They went outside for a break, and they started crying because they were like, I don't have freedom or autonomy in my day anymore. I have to, like, somebody has to tell me what to do. Like I have to take a break because somebody tell me I have to take a break. Not because like I'm just living authentically. And they were crying about that, and they were trying to like pull it together and check their makeup to see if it had been running. And that is the moment that they started the video where they did the whole demure thing that took off a few months ago. This person went viral. They've had like appearances, and like they have made money. This has become like monetized and like you never know. And they were like, make that video. They were like, make the video, bitch, like upload that video. And I was like, I will. Like this could be the one that changes your life. And it's so hard to keep going. I know, you guys, like there's probably something that you're doing. It may not be like a video, but there may be this soul calling that you've had within you for a long time, and a vision for your life. And it's gonna be unique for everyone. And it could have been very hard. And there's something in you that can't give up. It's like you're gonna die trying, and some days you just can't go on and you can't not go on. But don't give up, because like you never know that within a day, within a moment, things can change. Miracles don't need time and space. It happens within an instant. Just like meeting, you go from being maybe lonely or not expecting to meet anyone, and just going about your life. Maybe you're just happy and like going along, happy-go-lucky, and then one day you meet someone, and then in an instant, it's like, oh wow, you have a whole nother person in your life. Your life has changed. Same thing. It's like you are going along one day and you don't have your dream job, and then an opportunity just presents itself, and that's when you get that dream job, and you don't know it when it's happening, right? Until after the fact. But things are being staged around us. Props and people and sceneries being moved behind the curtains and behind the scenes, and that new reality is coming in. We just can't see it yet because we are performing the scene right now to the audience. But the backstage, the crew, they're getting things together. They're getting things prepared and placed. And so heaven's helpers are helping us behind the scenes. That was redundant. And I just burped. But don't worry. Things are going to fall into place. Things are materializing. Taurus is an earth sign, so it's about materializing things. And Taurus is like very sturdy. It's very, like, Taurus is very good at taking action to materialize their ideas or things that will bring them beauty or pleasure or security or abundance. Tauruses are good at sensing what's going to be appreciated or well received. They know what's going to be beautiful or stylish. And then they know how to monetize that. They know how to capitalize on something or turn something into a fruitful endeavor. So they're very good at taking action. Tauruses are very good at being stable, steadfast, one step at a time, but like being grounded and steady and like dependable, right? And so that's what we're going to have to become in order to really get these dreams to take off, because a lot of the things that we're doing, it's not just a one and done, it's a lifetime devotion, it's a lifetime endeavor. So we have to learn how to be steadfast. We have to learn how to be sustainable, to take it at a pace that we can maintain, right? And not burn out. So we have to be practical, we have to be grounded, we have to take action. We can enjoy ourselves. Tauruses certainly love the beautiful and finer things in life, the beautiful tastes. They're about all the sensual pleasures, right? Smells, tastes, awesome fabrics. Like, I love like having like Empress pillows around me all the time. Like, it's just like the best. Like, oh, I love it. I have a stellium in Taurus, like beautifying the environment, artwork. Taurus is run by, or ruled by Venus. And so Taurus, you know, in order to like surround thyself with beauty and to buy the dark chocolate, you need that sustenance, right? So Tauruses are good earners as well and creators. They're prolific. So the one thing that we have to really be cautious about though with Taurus energy is that we don't want to overindulge or overdo it. So with this Taurus full moon, we're looking at ways that we can enhance our routines and our actions that we're taking in order to build our dreams, but also the things that we need to release that are sort of leaking our energy or thwarting our progress. So we're letting go of habits that aren't in alignment with our goals, or, you know, we're cutting back in ways that we may be overdoing it. Let's see, anything else? So Taurus can be a little bit lazy and a little bit stubborn, a little bit slow. So the tikkun associated with Taurus can be that they are a little bit stubborn and a little bit lazy. And so one thing that I've learned from my Kabbalah teacher, David Guillaume, go follow him on Instagram. He does daily reels that are awesome. He gives you like a lot of deep wisdom from Kabbalah to like apply practically to your life. But one of the secrets is that when you get divine inspiration or divine guidance to do something, when you hesitate or when you sleep on that guidance and you don't take action, that's called spiritual laziness. And so that thwarts the momentum in your manifestation. But when you have an idea or when you have divine inspiration to take an action and you're feel comfortable that the timing is also right, because sometimes you get an insight, but it's like you're not supposed to do it yet. You feel that the timing is not right, and it's just like something that you can sense. So it's like, okay, when you get divine inspiration, you know, you're like, okay, I know that this is urging me to just do this. Take action on it, and you want to get like quite a bit of that idea started to capitalize on the momentum. I think he said if you can get 80% of the idea out of you and done as fast as possible, that gives you the greatest assurance of manifesting the thing, your vision as you want it. So, you know, and think about that. It sounds like a lot, but a lot of times, like, it's easy to spit all that out in the first couple of like brainstorms. Like, for instance, if you're gonna write a book about a process, it's like you can get that outline out probably in a day, and you're like, oh, I didn't realize this, but I just basically created the whole structure of my book right there. And then it's about filling in the gaps, right? And so if you started, you know, to put all that into some form in the first week or so, like that would give you a big head start, right? And you then follow up on that daily. You know, you don't have to do that same amount of work, but like consistent, you know, action steps daily. So that's just a secret to take with you. Don't get divine inspiration and sleep on it, because then you lose your momentum. And once you get an idea and you want to start bringing it into form, like, try to get as much done in the beginning as you can before you lose momentum and lose the zest. Okay, so let's see. We are solidifying and fixing in that new identity, that new version of self, that higher version of self. I love it. So using my straightforward oracle, let's do a Celtic cross. And this first card will be us in the context of this moment. Needs more planning. Oh my God, this is so funny. So when I was shuffling the Moonology deck, the full moon and Taurus card was just like flipped over, and it said your idea needs more planning. So yes, we need more planning. That's what this moment is all about. This is the idea, the assignment right now is to, I had to get that right. The assignment right now is to get really clear on our plan of action, visualize what we want to create moving forward and how we're going to go about it, and start picking away at that plan consistently and steadily, one piece at a time. But we need more planning. So it needs more planning: details, research, strategy, building foundations, well thought out, slow but practical action steps, methodical focus and clarity, sharp intention. So we're getting really clear and really sharp on our intention, getting a lot of clarity. Okay, what's crossing us now? The energy that's crossing us now, felt like maybe it was this. Ooh, it's time to take action. Oh my gosh, I love this. I was actually just typing this card before I started the workshop. Instead of skipping that step, I was like, nope, I'm gonna squeeze in my writing ritual today. So it's time to take action, take inspired action, yang energy, follow your inner guidance. Wasting time will cause discontent, stagnation, and even chaos. Support from the universe. Divine timing meets preparedness. Catch the wave of magic. The internal work of priming our energy, mindset, and vibration is only part of the process. That is the internal work. The embodiment of that work requires us to take inspired action in the outer world. Sometimes the rhythms of manifestation and creation ask that we are still, quiet, and receiving in a passive state at rest. Not this time. This is time to take action. Take inspired action. Once you get an intuitive hit or are inspired by an idea, you must act on it. Don't freeze in a stalemate of indecision. Just put yourself out there. Give it a shot and let the chips fall where they may. Don't get caught up in perfectionism or procrastination. Don't fear mistakes, just accept them and confidently follow your divine guidance with acceptance that what you try may not work. That's okay. That's okay. Trial and error are a process. Get started and be persistent with joy, passion, inspiration, and enthusiasm. I can't believe this card came out. That's so funny, and I just typed it, but actually I can, because that's how it works. It's so funny when magical things happen. It's like we never get used to it. We're always like, oh, can't believe it. Whoa, magic. Okay. All right, so the underlying influence in the situation, or the subconscious influence that's affecting us right now. Let's see. What is the subconscious influence affecting us right now? Ooh, tiny writing. A lot on that card. Okay, this is a mother issue, mother healing. Oh, that card came up actually during our manifestation oracle message this week. And it's so funny because as we've been doing mother healing and father healing, like bouncing back and forth over the last couple of weeks, I've been in touch with both my parents a lot, or more than usual, and like seeing them more than usual. It's interesting. But also they've both had like wellness issues that have paralleled like this these last couple of weeks, and it's interesting because like my dad got back some like good news on something that he was like checking into, but it's interesting because I think that literally our emotional forgiveness towards our parents, I think, can heal their afflictions and their ailments and their sickness, and vice versa. I think that letting that tension go, because think about it, when we cast evil eye or evil tongue on someone, it can take their life force, it can drain them of their life force and actually make them sick or take off time that they have. And so if we already share an energetic, like a blood bond with these people, and a soul bond, right? That, you know, we were very connected physically with the people that we love, that we have a soul connection to. And so I think that our compassion and love towards them, and that letting go of that malice, like releases that toxicity. Like I think it lets it go, and I think it helps them physically. I think it helps them through ailments and things. Or it maybe alleviates the need for them to go through a process of illness to serve as cleansing. Because in Kabbalah, we learn that like the chaos that we live through in our day is called judgment. And it's basically how we kind of work off that karma. That's one of the ways, right? So we can either proactively go after these things, or life can kind of bring scenarios to us that will create the pressure to create the atmosphere for the alchemy to start doing its thing, for us to start doing that. So interesting. I think that basically all this to say that I think that the spiritual healing between us and our parents, and the emotional healing, I think is also healing for their physical person as well as ours. So this is a mother issue, mother healing. So our subconscious, the subconscious pattern or the subconscious belief right now that's affecting like the outer circumstances, the it's time to take action, the needs more planning, our sort of hesitance, right? Our indecision, maybe our lack of action, is tied to our wounds, our mother wounds. And our mother wounds connect to our self-worth. So if we want to find the spiritual source of what we need to direct our attention to for healing, that will help alleviate our outer circumstances as well, where we need to look is our mother issues. How we feel about mother as an archetype, how we can separate mother as an archetype from our human mother and accept her humanness. How our relationship to motherhood as individuals on a personal level, all of it. So, and that all ties into our feelings of self-worth, right? And our feelings of self-worth inform the quality of jobs and lovers that we are attracting. Okay, so why did I choose my mother? Okay, so one of the most helpful workshops that Kabbalah gave me, I think, period. And so I always suggest sign up for Kabbalah 1 through the KabbalahCenter.com. That, like, I love the KabbalahCenter.com so much. But Kabbalah classes are amazing. They teach you how to be in life and be an awakened soul, participating and workshopping your day-to-day. So one of the questions, one of the workshops that I took away from one of the Kabbalah classes was unraveling your tikkun as it pertains to your parents. So 2 very helpful questions are, why did I choose my mother? Meaning all the hard things that my mother, like the aspects of my mother's personality that made my life harder, right? That made us butt heads, that made me feel insecure. All the things that my mom did that was like difficult to accept, those are the reasons I chose her. So that's what the question's really asking. It's not asking, why did you, in a soul state in the astral realm before we came to earth, we chose these people to awaken our souls. And so we didn't choose our mother because, oh my gosh, she gives me warm and cozy feelings like Susan Sarandon and Goldie Hawn. Like, it's like this this person actually awakened the strength in me and the and that higher self, right? That maybe a coddling mother wouldn't have. So here we go. So you have to answer with things that are difficult to maybe appreciate, right? Those are the answers we're looking for. So if you can think of 3 to 5 reasons why you chose your mother, difficult reasons, and then why did my mother choose me? So 3 or 5 difficult reasons why your mother may have chosen you, right? How have you made your mother have to delve into her depths and become stronger? And, you know, how have you awakened your mother because of maybe the ways you were difficult for your mother? So why did I choose my mother? And why did my mother choose me? 3 to 5 difficult things to accept that may have actually made you the person that you are, given you the grit. And you can also apply this to your father, and those are very helpful. You can do automatic journaling with this. Maybe set your timer for 5 or 10 minutes for each question. Okay, so this issue is tied to a wound that affected your self-worth. This issue is tied to your money or is affecting your finances. Unconsciously playing out your mother's patterns because of enmeshment. So sometimes we can do that too. Sometimes we can accidentally play out our mother's patterns and live out the reality that our mother lived because of feeling like empathy for our mother and wanting to be like in solidarity with our mother. So you might start living out your mother's same fate because of this unconscious like love and empathy for your mother and enmeshment to feel like you don't want to betray your mother or abandon her by going off and like not having the same fate as she did, right? So your subconscious kind of creates that same scenario for you in some cases. This is a very long back of the card, so we're just going to keep it there to not be too overwhelming. But maybe soon you guys will be able to order this deck, which I feel like is going to be the go-to companion deck of every reader. Okay, so this next card is a position that it stands for a lesson from the past that's starting to clear away. Like an issue that we've been dealing with, it's beginning to dissipate and the effects of it aren't going to be hanging over us as much. So pay attention to your dreams. So record and interpret your nightly dreams. There are messages for you. Practice lucid dreaming, astral projecting. When we sleep, our souls ascend to the astral realm for cleansing and education. Make your sleep space sacred and protect yourself with crystals. Ooh, dreammoods.com. I always recommend people look their dreams up on dreammoods.com. Let's get a little bit more insight into how, like, what that pertains to. Like, what about our dreams? So our dreams are telling us something, or maybe like you had a reoccurring dream in the past that you feel like maybe was giving you messages, and maybe like it was predicting something that was going to happen for you, or maybe your dreams like for a long time were these themes that were taking you through these difficult periods of your life. And so maybe the dreams that you had, like maybe that mood and that dreamscape is lifting and that it's not going to be the same anymore. I know, like for me personally, I always grew up with these dreams, these reoccurring dreams that I was driving in at night and it was stormy and ominous, and it was like one of those like stormy nights where the clouds are like brown and everything's really dark, and it's not raining yet necessarily, but there's just this impending threat. And I'm trying to like gather people up and take them to safety. And I'm trying to tell them about the threat that's coming, and no one will listen to me. No one's taking me seriously. Nobody wants to come with me. And I'm like, I have a safe house. I have a refuge. Like, come. And like, no one will listen. No one will come with me. And I'm so frustrated and disheartened and brokenhearted and bewildered because I know everyone's going to be doomed. And that has been, in my waking life, my 100% experience, being a sort of a mystic and a prophet and having foresight and trying to give people like try to like, you know, in relationships seeing like, oh no, like we shouldn't do this, it's gonna turn out this way, or like having foresight and trying to tell people or trying to help people, or even having insight into what's in the air at the moment and what it all pertains to and how it could make more sense and how like they could, you know, I don't know, glean from it. In a spiritual sense, I'm always trying to get people to the refuge, and I'm trying to tell them like there's this threat, but don't worry, like I know how to get to safety. Like no one will listen to me, right? And so maybe that theme of feeling like I can't get anyone to listen, maybe that is dissipating. So does that kind of give you guys like an example to kind of make out of this? Like the thing that your dreams have been sort of like about all this time, and like maybe they've been addressing the fact that like you can't get the progress that you've wanted to, like that heaviness is lifting, and the hurt feelings that were attached to it. So yeah, maybe you've had a lot of disappointment about your dreams that like, you know, like your goals, those kind of dreams not having come into fruition, and it's like hurt your feelings, and it's almost giving you this like kind of hurt feelings with God, with the universe, because you're like, what gives? I don't understand. And I think that we're getting over that. I think we're getting more perspective and more hindsight and more healing around that, and that energy is lifting. And so because of that, the energy around us is lifting too. All right, what is crowning us at this moment? Listen carefully. All right, the deep listening, keep an open heart, pay attention to others. Pay attention to others. Who are you listening to? And so also pay attention to who you're listening to. So listen carefully, listen deeply in quiet, like meditation, spending time in nature, spending time in solitude. Open your heart, listen with an open heart. Pay attention, and pay attention to others. Like if the universe is trying to send you a message through others. And also pay attention to who you're listening to and be discerning about that. Also the cards, keep the peace and keep the love tank full, and peace and release, we're with that. So it's like right now, the best thing we can do is chill, relax, pause, meditate, listen for like instruction, listen for the Holy Spirit to talk to us about all the lessons that are sort of becoming preserved so that we don't lose them and we can get perspective around them. So we're listening to that. We're keeping our love tank full. We're keeping ourselves spiritually nourished and physically nourished, and doing all the things that we know that we've learned about ourselves that keep our own love tank full. We're maintaining our inner peace. We are maintaining the peace in our outer circumstances, because we've learned that division will separate us from our blessings. It cuts us off from having affinity with the light of the Creator. However, unity makes us almost unstoppable. So we're maintaining our unity, because that gives us affinity with the light of the Creator, putting us in a blessing receiving zone. And peace and release. We're at peace, we're in acceptance, we're releasing the past, we're releasing any kind of grudge or unforgiveness. We're letting it all go, because nothing is worth our inner peace and fulfillment, because that is what keeps us connected to the light of the Creator, and that's what keeps those blessings flowing. So what is coming around the corner? We need to be more motivated. So this is like chop chop, like no time to rest. No rest for the wicked. Like you need to be more motivated. Let's see, Mars was in Cancer, which was really kind of a wet blanket for a lot of the fire signs out there. We're just like, oh, it's just not where we find, it's like in our detriment. But Mars has moved since then into Leo, which is reigniting our fire and our inspiration and motivation. I just think that we've been really physically tired, and then our bodies have been shifting to meet the, for at least the Northern Hemisphere, we're going into that fall season. And we just passed daylight savings, and the days are getting shorter. And so we were already tired, and now it seems like night is at 2 o'clock. So We're getting our motivation back. We're just getting our bearings. So make sure that you do get your motivation back, because like we were talking about earlier, if you don't get that momentum and keep it, you'll lose that momentum. And if things become still and they go stagnant, stagnant energy is blocking. So stagnant energy is blocking energy, freezing opportunities, losing opportunities, missed timing, lack of passion, lack of motivation and inspiration, stand still to do lack of, a standstill due to a lack of energy, desire, and effort. This situation is asking you to try even harder and give even more. So don't give up. It's time to try even harder and give even more. We're not backing off now. Okay, so the next card represents our perspective that is affecting the situation right now. Party's over, so time to get it together. Overindulgence, detox time, time to buckle down. Balance is needed. Sober up, need a plan, need a sense of purpose. Honeymoon is over, time to get to work. That is so true. It's like, that's part of what we were talking about with Taurus energy. You can have a tendency to overindulge or to just, you know, fall back into like what feels good, but party's over. We need to get to work. We need to get focused. So enjoy holiday time, but also don't get so off the rails. Like enjoy this holiday season as your higher self who's like taking a break. You are abundant. So this also came out with parties over. So with that, give yourself a mindset of abundance. If you're feeling a little bit like in scarcity mode right now and you feel like that's holding you back and you're feeling like it's sending you into anxiety, and then your coping mechanism is to overindulge when you're anxious, just know like you're abundant. It's okay. Like it may be hard to believe right now that things are going to start getting better from where you're at. It's not going to be like this or like worse from now on. It's going to be like this and plus, like it's going to start getting better. So your outer situation, your outer world that's affecting you right now, how it's affecting you, meditate. So restfulness, breath work, meditation, mindfulness, chop wood, carry water, simple, gentle tasks, take a walk in nature, garden, jog, take a bath, get quiet, observe your thoughts. You know, when we have a mixed bag of messages where it's like, take action, but then it's like, meditate, quiet, listen. I think when it's in those times where it's more about getting those simplicity, like getting the simplicity of your daily routine in check, get that solid. What we need to do is, instead of focusing on all the big things or like having our energy and intentions scattered in a bunch of directions, right now the task at hand as we're finishing out the year is to practice that simple daily routines. Take action, meaning immediately start these new practices, be that new self now and start practicing that new self. So when we start integrating and adding in the bigger goals and the bigger things that we're taking on, it's like we've already established, like we've already set ourselves up for success, right? We've already prepared. We've already practiced being more disciplined and having a better routine. Our sleep schedule is good, so we have better focus now. Like we have more bandwidth. We've regulated our nervous system so that we can handle more and we can get more done in less time. Okay, so hopes and fears. This is going to represent our hopes and fears. Well, I see true love. I see the card emotional renewal here. I've dropped a bunch of cards. Let's see. Let's pick those up. Listen to your intuition. So let's keep shuffling and let's get one card. But we saw true love. Listen to your heart, intuition. So hopes and fears. Let's get one card for hopes and fears. Lesson learned. So lesson learned pertaining to being able to listen to our intuition when it comes to love and making choices and being able to decipher our intuition from our own like ego desires. So we've learned from the past, okay, I misinterpreted, you know, I've learned my lessons in love, and I know that I can trust my intuition will not lead me in the direction of a negative pattern again. So if I'm feeling tempted to go in the direction of a negative pattern again, I know that's probably not my intuition leading me. So listening to our intuition, we've learned our lesson. We don't need to repeat this again. So don't be so timid or worried about falling back into old patterns that you hold yourself back. Keep an open mind, keep an open heart. Be ready to open yourself up to experiences and opportunities. But you've learned your lesson, and so you know how to listen to your intuition. And so you know it's safe to try new things, because you can hear when your intuition is like, all right, we know this is a no now. You know, like there's a red flag, pay attention to that. This is not a match, this is not compatible. You know, and so then we can take that information and then do something with it. That's also not being spiritually lazy. When you're in, say, a fun romantic situation and you're getting those red flags and you want to ignore them because you're enjoying yourself and you're having fun, that's being spiritually lazy. So I think we've learned our lesson now, and we know not to waste our time and energy in ways that aren't in alignment anymore. And that goes for more than just romance, but that's for like our the time that the way that we manage our time through the day, right? I mean, we only have a certain amount of time that we have in each day to create these dreams. They don't create themselves, and days go by so fast. And you know, you blink an eye and the year's over, right? I mean, this year I can't believe how fast it went. So learned our lesson, we know how to say next faster. Let's just put it that way. It's an easy way to put it. Okay, so final outcome is, this is from the heart. Core authentic desires, divine guidance, purpose, passion, influenced by a higher love. May seem illogical. The heart is the head of the brain. Insight that holds truth, big truth. Be aware that if the heart is in pain or if the individual is asleep, the heart can be misleading. So we've learned our lesson. We've learned how to tune into our intuition and follow divine guidance and be led by our heart. So, and that's what we're wanting to build this next cycle on, to build this next timeline, to write this next chapter from the heart. With things that are in vibrational resonance with the things that we love, affinity with, and harmony and flow. You are embodying the vibrational frequency of that which you desire. You are very magnetic right now. Evaluate your energy based on your vibe. What are you attracting more of? So evaluate your energy right now. Based on your vibration, what is it that you're actually attracting more of in this moment? All right. Let's grab 4 tarot cards to solidify the message. So 7 of Swords. This is we're seeing the things that have robbed us of our potential, right? The ways that we have had patterns that have thwarted our romantic relationships. How our lack of discipline maybe have robbed us from our success, or, you know, being able to go, maybe like our insecurity has held us back from trying big things in this world. Maybe we thought we weren't cut out for it, right? So we're seeing how our thoughts have held us back. These swords, the swords are the realm of thoughts. They're the realm of words, right? And that kind of, so it's our thoughts and our words. So in what ways have we sort of shot ourselves in the foot, or sold ourselves short, or let things rob us, like let our mindset rob us from having all that we could have had? You know, how many times have we let our words speak death into our situation instead of life in it, right? How many times have we caught ourselves speaking negatively about our situation and speaking death over ourselves and failure over ourselves, and instead of success and blessing, right? Those things rob us of our blessings because they cut us off from affinity with the Creator. So we're seeing that more clearly, and now we're seeing, oh, like nothing is worth cutting me off from the Creator. That's where all the good stuff is. And so my rabbi, Michael Berg, had mentioned recently that the one fear that we should have for this year, the one and only fear that we should ever have, is losing my connection with the Creator by falling out of affinity with the light of the Creator. And looky here, we have Ace of Pentacles. So this is a new start. We're planting new seeds, new beautiful things are coming into our lives. We are planting seeds from a different state of consciousness, which makes them more prone than ever to become fertile and fruitful, because our consciousness is the seed level through which we create, through which we manifest. So if we're in a state of peace and well-being and abundance and love and consciousness of sharing, then that thing, our actions that we take from that mindset are going to be blessed. They're going to have momentum. They're going to have heavenly support. But when we have, when we take actions and our consciousness is in revenge, anger, jealousy, scarcity, like, you know, taking care of the self, self-preservation, those actions have chaos injected into them, and they yield and they lead to more chaos. So you're seeing sowing seeds of chaos when you're in a reactive state and you're taking action from fear. So it's best to pause and wait it out and get into a different state of consciousness before you plant seeds. But we are planting, we know what was robbing us from planting successful seeds before. And so now we're ready for a new start, a new chance, a new second chance to do it all over again, knowing what we know now. Okay, let's see, one more. Let's get another card. Knight of Cups. So a return of our enthusiasm, a feeling of like romance with life. This is like feeling inspired and like creative again. The Knight of Cups is the artsy one. You know, they're the one that's like coming in and kind of like, what is it? Not swooning. Swooning is when how you'd react to the Knight of Cups. They'll woo you. They'll, you know, wine and dine you. They'll give you adventure and romance, and they may or may not give you a permanent or serious invitation, but they'll show you a very fun time. And this energy can sometimes represent us when we feel, you know, that lust for life again, or we're getting excited about a new venture or a new opportunity. So this just is like life is bringing that excitement back to us. We're excited about the new seeds that we're planting. And so that's really great. Good things are gonna come of it, looks like. New opportunities, like life is offering us new opportunities, new exciting opportunities. And here we have Knight of Swords. So this is fast moving energy, and it's about taking action quickly without hesitation, jumping right in and gaining that momentum and capitalizing on that momentum. So when we get that divine inspiration and spirit is inviting us to take action, it's important that we take action quickly, not from a reactive state, like we have to, like FOMO or something like that, but like promptly, like if you were taking an order in like with military discipline, like that kind of thing. Okay, let's pull, no, before we go there, we're gonna grab a Moonology card. Let's see. A personal issue reaches resolution. Full moon in Cancer. So whatever was the last workshop that we did, this is the card that we pulled because it sits out in my living room for this one card does for the lunation cycle to give me a reminder. And it's so funny because I just put this back in the deck and I shuffled and it's back again. But a personal issue reaches resolution. So I love this. This is the resolution, the culmination of our karmic cycle. So the worst is behind us. Positive new experiences are on the horizon. There's like, we're not going to have to keep circling back into the same hard lessons, right? It's not that those opportunities may not show up and those opportunities may not present, but they're going to be a lot more obvious, and they're going to give us the ick, and they're not going to be as desirable as they once were. It's going to be a lot easier to identify those moments and walk away from them rather than get snared in a pitfall again. Renewal, I love this. This is the Judgment card. So it's like you've awakened and you've realized all of these lessons, and now like your judgment is different, but like the higher judgment of the higher upper realms, like they have looked upon our journey and they have filled out our report cards, and the judgment is in, and we got good marks. So reviewing the past with compassion and forgiveness. Time to head in a new direction. Clarity on your life purpose. In your heart, you know what to do. So clarity on your life purpose. In your heart, you know what to do. I love it. Okay, let's get 4 cards from the Manifestation Oracle deck. Magical mermaids and dolphins. Make a wish. Yay. Take this magical moment. Make a wish and enjoy its manifestation. So right now, we're still in the 11/11 portal. So this is a really good time for manifestation. There's a lot of heightened, like good fortunate energy to manifest with right now. So take advantage of this open window of time that we're walking through. This is a good time to take action towards your dreams. Take those inspired actions when you get that ping. All right, what do we have here? Oh, synchronicity. I was about to say, follow those pings and watch for those little signs and listen for that inner direction. And many times they will come through synchronicities. So your prayers and questions are being answered by synchronistic events. Notice them in order to increase their flow. So yeah, watch out for those synchronicities. Watch out for the signs. Sometimes there's a literal like billboard that'll speak to you, or a truck that'll go by with like writing on it, and you're like, what? The tagline is exactly what I need to hear right now. But pay attention, because like God can send you messages anywhere and everywhere, and really is all the time. So don't actively look for them and search them out, because then you're searching out, like you'll find what you're looking for, but just be in a active state of standing by. And like when something like that comes up and you notice it, don't dismiss it. Don't think, oh, this is just my imagination. Like when something grabs your attention, you're like, oh my gosh, this feels like for me. And you're like, oh, like pay attention. Like the video I saw on TikTok that I was talking about earlier, with the person talking about how they almost gave up. And it was that one video when they were crying, when they were heartbroken, that went viral. Okay, love it. Waves of prosperity. New abundance and exciting opportunities are washing over you now. I'm feeling it because I can't remember what is going on with Jupiter, but Jupiter is expanding something and it's bringing us good fortune. And it's probably bringing us like the boon that Saturn is leaving from all of the hard work that we've been doing for Capricorn and Saturn. It's like they are severe, like that is a severe influence, but it usually leaves you with a gift. And music for manifesting, this card comes up for us a lot. Music is very powerful because it gets you into a feeling state. So listen to music that matches the vibration of what you're wanting to call in. If it's opulence, then I would suggest disco and rap music. If you want to call in love, then I would say listen to some music that gives you the feels. All right, let's check in with our love lives with the Romance Angels Oracle. What do we have here? Oh, forgiveness, forgiving and learning. We haven't had this one come up in a while, but this is the theme of the reading here. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moment. So starting off, we're just letting go of the past. We're forgiving. We're letting bygones be bygones. We're moving forward without any baggage. pay attention to red flags. We've learned our lesson, and it's not that we're not going to attract some of these shady characters again, because a bright light attracts bugs, period. You can't decide what runs up to your porch and like flies around your light bulb, right? So you have to be discerning about swatting away what's attracted to your light. Pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. So when someone starts showing those red flags, or when you start seeing your own red flags hinting around like you might be tempted to fall back into your old ways, pay attention and take action to do something about that. Don't squander this new opportunity to start with a clean slate. Free yourself. Free yourself. It's time to take back control of your life. So really getting our discipline and our focus and our intention, we take control of our mindscape, right? We are not going to fall prey to limerence and ruminating and letting things take up free rent and free space in our mind. We're liberating ourselves, mind, body, soul, and spirit, from all the things that have kept us bound, from addictions to bad habits. We're letting it go. We're freeing ourselves. Nothing has a grip on us anymore. Nothing but Jesus. Release your ex. So you got to let go of the past completely. We've got to completely cut ties with the old timeline. It's like we're jumping from, did y'all see that viral video of the group of penguins that were running, and the iceberg broke, and the one little penguin was on the other side of the crack, and it was like the piece started to float away, and he was running and he was trying to like get the right angle of the trajectory to like make it before the crack like completely separated him from the group, because like the ice was like floating away from the landmass, and he like made it at the last minute, and the whole like group of penguins were like, yeah, you made it, and they all crowded around. And but that's it's like we all have to jump on, like we've got to jump to that other iceberg, because the old timeline is like breaking off and like floating away into oblivion. So we got to release the X, because the X is keeping us chained to that ice block that's about to float off and melt into the ocean. So we don't want to be on that ice block. All right, now we're winding it down. Let's get some loving motherly advice from Mary, Mother of Angels, Queen of Angels, I'm sorry. This is Jesus's Mother Mary. What do we need to know for the next couple of weeks through this waning cycle? Mother Mary, what do we need to know? What's your motherly advice for us? Like this is it. Be strong. I pull myself up and do what needs to be done. I love this. This is so Earth Mother Taurus. I pull myself up and do what needs to be done. So it's like bootstrap on, keep calm and carry on. Like pull yourself together, go to bed. Don't couch nap. That's fine. I'm like, no more couch naps. I gotta get up early. So do the routines that are going to tighten up your day and all the things. Like it's time to get it together. So we're going to just have the resolve to just do what needs to be done. Get on with it. In The Chosen, one of my favorite shows ever. This is about like Jesus when he gathered up his disciples and they went out on doing their thing on tour. And it's like a really realistic portrayal of like Jesus and his personality and things, which I really like. But there was one episode where they're preparing for Jesus to give a sermon on the Mount. And they were like, the disciples had been in charge of doing like all the production, like getting the location ready and like sending out invitations and flyers to the townspeople. And it was like a whole production involved. And so Jesus was like mostly focused on the sermon. And then he also had like Rome, like that was like out looking for him. And so the Roman soldiers came to arrest Jesus to take him for interrogation. And Jesus knew that this was probably not when he gets the big arrest. So everybody was all scared, but he was like, just keep working. Like, I'll be back. Don't worry. Just keep going along, just plan on everything going forward tomorrow, or you know, when they had planned on having the Sermon on the Mount. So he's taken away, he's arrested, and all of the disciples are just beside themselves, and they don't get anything done. They're just worried, sick. They're trying to come up with a plan. They're like, should we bust him out? Like, we don't know what to do. And a couple of the women were like, he did say to just continue to plan and prepare for the sermon and just keep working and he'll be back. Or they're like, how is he gonna go? You know, nobody trusts, nobody has any faith. They shut down in anxiety, in analysis paralysis, and in trauma. And when like a day and a half later, Jesus makes it back to the camp, and he didn't come straight back from being arrested. He actually went and worked on his speech and then came back to the camp, and they're like, oh my God, Jesus, we've been so worried. Like, why didn't you come straight home? And he was like, I told you I was going to be back, like, to not worry and to just keep going and keep planning and keep doing your thing, that we have to be ready. And everybody's like, well, we were worried sick. You were arrested. Like, we didn't know what to think. And he was like, I told you everything's going to be fine. Like, why didn't you trust me? And they're like, well, we just did it. And he was like, well, it's only gonna get worse from here. Like, you cannot shut down every time you become afraid. That's what he told them. He goes, you can't shut down every time you become afraid. And so I've thought about that a lot on days where, you know, life just seems so heavy that you just feel like, what's the point? You know, you start to feel depressed, and that depression starts to entropy, you know, and you just start to shut down. And it's like, we can't afford to be depressed anymore. We can't afford to shut down. The world needs us. The world needs us to show up and to make ourselves push through and keep going, you know. And Jesus would say that too, you know. He'd say, you can't be self-indulgent and waste away. You know, things are going to always be difficult, and things, if you're going to be a spiritual thought leader and someone who is pushing the edge of advancement, and you're involved in life anymore because it's just raining hellfire and brimstone out there, then things could only maybe get harder, right? But you have to learn to be at peace within the tribulation, right? Think about this past year, like all of the intensity, right? The natural disasters, the political upheaval, the warfare, everything. It's so weird that, like, on the one hand, I like grieve very deeply and I worry very deeply about this planet, but at another degree, I just have learned to become very at peace with the fact that the creator, that God, will either protect me or I'm fucked. I have no control. So it gives me a lot of peace and acceptance. And it's not just a theoretical thing. Like, one night I was here and there was a tornado, and I didn't have a warning or anything. I just woke up in the middle of the night and it was really quiet. It was eerie, but there was all this lightning, and I looked out the window and the wind started picking up, and I looked out the back doors downstairs, and the forest just looked like every tree was gonna snap, and it was crazy. And I was like, oh goodness, it seemed like there's a tornado going on right now. And I was like, well, if I take cover in my bathroom, like the likelihood that the tub will just fall through the floor is very high and I'll just be crushed. I'm like, there's no real good place in my house to take cover. I thought to myself in that moment, I was like, well, I guess I'm either fucked or I'm gonna be okay. And I just calmly sort of just like watched it all pass. And it was kind of exhilarating and kind of calm, and I just kind of accepted that. And that was it. And then people started texting me. They're like, are you okay? Like, are you alive? Like, a tornado just went past your house. And it was like this huge tornado that like tore through East Nashville and Nashville and wrecked the surrounding neighborhoods. And it was like one of those times where I just like, I felt the work that I had done. I was able to, after the fact, look back on that moment and be like, wow, I was very chill. I was very trusting. I was very aware and present in that moment, but I was like, okay, you know, so that's part of like the benefit of doing that spiritual work, to build that relationship with God one-on-one, so you feel supported, so you feel protected. Oh my gosh, this was also the last time we got this card, the secret, the Loving Words from Jesus card, because I also display this card for the weeks in between our workshops, so I'll have the reminder. And it's the same one that we left off with. So he that believeth on me, the works that I do, shall he do also. And greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. So Jesus is saying here that if you believe in me and you believe in these things that I'm doing, like, trust that you can do these things too, and you will even do greater things than these. Because I go unto my Father, and I give you the authority in my name to do these blessings, these great things, in accordance to your faith, right? So believe in the things that Jesus taught and did, and you can do those things and even greater, just with believing and showing up and being persistent. All right, y'all. Well, this has been our full moon in Taurus workshop. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got a lot out of it. You may need to watch it again. I don't know. We'll see, huh? But our next video, I will either do our weekend reflection message in the morning. And if I don't, if I'm not able to do that, then our next video will be our Secret Teachings of Jesus video. So that comes out, I do those on Saturday nights at midnight. So I post them as soon as they're finished. So they come out in the middle of the night. So you'll have them on Sunday morning, or if you're up in the middle of the night, like a little night owl, you can watch it then. All right, until then, ciao. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you got something out of it, then please give it a like. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications to be notified of when I drop content. Like the videos, comment, share them. Anything that you do helps these messages get out to other people who need them. So you watching a video and taking an action on it actually makes a positive difference in someone else's life.